the death of the last president to lose re-election during Donald Trump's presidency 100 weeks before Election Day. In other words, 100 weeks after the death of George H.W. Bush, the United States, it's going to elect its first female president 100 years after women gained the right to vote in 1920. That was the 19th Amendment. All of these campaigns began in the year 19. The New York Times endorsed Klobuchar and Warren on the 19th day. We have all the inevitable proof out there. Let's begin with Chinese zodiac, Chinese astrology. George H.W. Bush was born in 1924. That is the year of the rat. The last president to lose re-election in 2020 gives us the year of the rat. Now we know it's going to be a woman. Let me show you Amy Klobuchar. Amy K.K. Klobuchar, because she is a self-serving prosecutor in Minnesota. She is born in the year of the rat, 1960. And now Elizabeth Warren, inauguration year 2021. That takes precedent over Amy Klobuchar and the rat, because 2021 inauguration year is the year of the ox, the moment in time that we have inauguration. And Elizabeth Warren is born in the year of the ox, and Barack Obama is born in the year of the ox. And you have to connect Obama and Warren together. It's because Obama appointed Warren to well, she didn't get appointed to run the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, but Obama did help her get a seat in the federal government, and so that's going to be really relevant for this election. The 1992 election was the last time that a president lost re-election. That was George H.W. Bush. That election was held on November the 3rd of 1992. The 2020 election just happens to also be on November the 3rd. So all of the evidence is out there. 1992, the election year is an election year of 21. And now in Gematria, it is woman that equals 21, and the first female president is going to be inaugurated in the year 21. So that's another big clue there. And now George H.W. Bush, 23 months and 5 days later, a woman is going to be elected. 23 months and 5 days after the death of George H.W. Bush. It is W that equals 23 and 5. 23 months and 5 days later. You see how this gematria lines up with that? It is also Warren that begins with the 23rd letter. And this is a big reason why Elizabeth is going to be elected president of the United States on November the 3rd. She's going to gain all the delegate votes. The women are going to get right behind Elizabeth Warren. The election is scripted. The Women's March, right after Donald Trump got inaugurated, I mean, the undeniable proof is out there. You know, Donald promised to reduce the debt. The deficit has gone up, and no repeal and replace, and no border wall being built, and all this back and forth attacking our allies and having these childish spats and not wanting to work with Congress. I mean, this really is a disastrous presidency right now, if you're wide awake right now. November 3rd, 11-3. First female president, Donald J. Trump, lost re-election. Notice how this is in the past tense. That is a really strong connection. You know that you're not guessing there, because this is past tense. Past tense makes this a really strong connection, because it is something that is going to already happen, in other words. And now, George H.W. Bush, he was born in the year 24. And I want you to notice that the day that the Electoral College selects Elizabeth Warren, which is September the 14th, that's a month sequence of 26. This is a time span of 24 months and 15 days later. Now, George H.W. Bush was born in the year 24. It is also Bush Sr. that has gematria of 24 and 87. A big reason why Trump is going to be losing is because of all of his connections and all of his debt with Russian oligarchs, because the deep state did put him in office. The DNC and the Russians helped put Trump in the White House, and they helped to screw over Bernie Sanders in both elections, and Warren is far more popular than Hillary Clinton ever was on her best day. And that's exactly what's happening right here for this election. And now you have 24 weeks, and then you have Inauguration Day itself of 2021. Now that time sequence is 25 months and 22 days. In other words, in gematria, it is Trump that equals 25. That's going to leave office 25 weeks after the death of George H.W. Bush. It is women that also has gematria of 25, and that's another big reason why we're going to have the first female president. So these date sequence are really significant in a really big year with George H.W. Bush's gematria, as well as W being the 23rd letter as it relates to the actual date of the election. He was born in the same month as Warren and Trump, George Herbert Walker Bush. He was born 2 days before Donald Trump, and he was born 10 days before Elizabeth Warren. He was born on a 25 day, as a matter of fact, not a 25 day, but a 25 date numerology, not a 25 day. They're completely different things. And once again, that connects with the gematria of Trump and women. As a matter of fact, I can add up his birthday numerology for 2020, and that's 58. And there were 58 prior elections because the election did not happen yet at that moment in time. And 12 is 3 and 20 is 4, and his birthday numerology is going to be on a 13-4 day, and Donald Trump is a 13-4 life path. So that really is a big connection for 2020. But you got to go connect the actual birthday of George H.W. Bush with the actual date of the election itself. You can not only compute the time duration from his actual death to the election and Electoral College Day and Inauguration Day, but the actual election itself. And when you do not include the end day, I want you to notice that this is 20 weeks later, and this leaves us with 144 days. 144 is a very occultic gematria reference because of this. Mark of the beast in Jesuit order having gematria of 144, and a lot of these politicians are Jesuit Catholics, and some of these people include George H.W. Bush, they include Nancy Pelosi, they include who else out there? Will Barr. And you see many of these people in government, or even Pete Buttigieg. I don't know if he was affiliated with the church at all, but you can definitely relate that with that sequence too. And November the 30th of 2020, November the 30th of 2020, the date of George H.W. Bush's death is a date numerology of 81, and I want you to notice that it's President Warren that has gematria of 81. And then death of George H.W. on November the 30th with Warren's birthday, because you know which woman is ultimately going to defeat Donald Trump. That's 23 weeks later. As I've said, 23's W is the 23rd letter. Woman begins with the 23rd letter. That's 5 months and 9 days later. This is the 59th election. You see how significant that is to Elizabeth Warren's birthday. Now I know it's not going to be Amy Klobuchar, but I'll also do Amy Klobuchar here. She's born on the 25th day. That's 6 months and 6 days later. It's female, that equals 66, so when you include the end date. So you can see how this stacks up for both women. But I'm going to show you some references for Amy K.K. Klobuchar, even though she's not going to be the actual winner of the election. Now, George H.W. Bush's death, that actual day to Elizabeth Warren's birthday, the other way around, and Amy Klobuchar we could also do as well, June the 22nd. That leaves us with 205 days. And you know, it is the Zionist order out there that has these political puppets that equals 25, and they know, the Zionists know, that Americans hate this puppet master. They hate Donald Trump a lot, and they may end up getting us Warren instead. And that's what we have here for the script. 5'8", just takes president over 5'4". Those are the heights of Warren and Klobuchar. Klobuchar is 5'4". Warren is 5'8". Warren is 68 inches, in other words. 12 inches for foot, and then 8 inches after 5. Then I've seen this reference with Elizabeth Warren's birthday before, the first female president. 5 months and 25 days from his death to Amy Klobuchar's birthday, 176 days later, and, you know, the first woman president. Woman president has too much of 176 now. This means that Klobuchar is going to be one of the candidates out there, but as I've mentioned before in a past video, it is going to be the amount of time from Warren's birthday to actual electoral college selection day is going to be more of a dominant selection, more of a dominant connection for this reference. You got to connect the birthday with the inauguration day when you include the end day. So that's why that takes precedent over Amy Klobuchar. Now, 28 years later from 1992 is going to give us 2020, and Elizabeth Warren, 5 and 23, and this shows out up to 28. Obama was elected in 28, and all of this. And Obama helped give her a leading voice in the federal government out of academia. And this is what we have over here. The death of George H.W. Bush 100 weeks before the election of the first female president in the United States of America.